Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mama Aiman bin Masofi. My matric number is 191092321. So today I will do a presentation for my part of the introduction. So we go to the first part, which is the background of our case study. So our case study is, what is engineer A want to seek a contract with the private health care provider to perform engineering and surveying service at the hospital. So we want to see that the decision has the ethical value, and you need to follow through with that decision. And also, engineer A need to be truthful. Did engineer A be truthful to the public statement that he or she made? And also, the decision that the engineer made must conduct responsibly, honorably, lawfully, and ethically. Next, we're gonna go to the public statement, problem statement. So the problem statement is, the engineer do not have moral and act according to on his or her benefit. And also, the project also will lose the credibility, and also the public will suffer the consequence from our problem. And also, the safety of the customer is at risk, and also the law is not followed truthfully. So now we're gonna go to the objective. So what is our objective from our case study? So we want to secure a good ethic to conduct, and also want to preserve the integrity and reputation of engineering profession, and also want to secure a good reputation and become more trustworthy to the public, and also to become someone with high credibility toward our community in general engineering profession. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Abdul Razak. My matric number 191091042. I want to present about discussion Board of Engineering Malaysia (BEM). A conflict is a real or potential disagreement between a member of the board of director and corporation. The idea is simple. Engineer A should not take advantage of his position. Salaries and bonus, misuse of company asset, self-dealing, siding corporate opportunities, insider trading, and neglect of board employment are examples of major conflict of interest. All board members are expected to act ethically at all times, report any material fact or potential conflict of interest as soon as possible, and take necessary corrective action. Referring to Board of Engineering Malaysia (BEM), a professional engineer registered with a certificate of practice action as an advisor or director of a company or agency shall not participate in decision in respect of professional engineering service request or provide by him or his organization. For example, the board has discussed the subject of conflict of interest at various times. In one example, the board looked at an engineering consultant who had been hired by a district commission to provide all essential engineering and consulting service. This clearly undermines the engineer's self-interest and divides his loyalty. Given this fact, we find that there is a conflict of interest. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning. My name is Asalini bin Hashim. My number is 1100607. Now I will continue with the Registration of Engineers Act or REA. Engineers can most often become involved in conflict of interest when they are confronted with the possibility of working for more than one client on the same project. As an engineer, we must have honesty and integrity so we can avoid to break the law of engineering. Conflict of interest arises when there is an actual or perceived risk that an engineer's action for one client or the public interest will be materially and adversely affected by another client interest or by personal interest. The decision of selecting engineers firm cannot be decided or joined by the engineering firm because this will make it be unequal. If we procure or assist in procuring or knowingly a party to procuring by fraud or misrepresentation, the approval of the board for sale, proprietorship, partnership, or body corporate to be registered as engineering consultancy practice. This board determined that an engineer who serves as municipal engineers and accounting engineers for a retainer fee may not be delivered or render judgment on behalf of the city and county on project for which the engineer has provided service through a private client. It is useless act because an engineer will not submit design or other works that he does not believe represent the best interest of his customer. To do so will cause a conflict of interest. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Muhammad Zamidran bin Hamidi. My country number is 1910910633. Now I want to discuss about Act and Regulation according to Accreditation Board for Engineering and Technology (ABET). In our case study, Engineer A principal at a local engineering firm who serves on the board of directors of the private health care provider C and receive a contract from the private health care provider to perform electrical maintenance at the hospital. The private healthcare provider's board of director made the decision to hire Engineer A firm, and Engineer A was present in the decision to select his firm. Engineer A should not be involved in the decision to select Engineer A firm in order to avoid a conflict of interest. Because his position in private healthcare, Engineer A may persuade the other to choose his firm over the other. Based on the Accreditation Board for Engineering and Technology Code of Ethics, engineers should build their professional reputation on the merit of their service and should not compete unfairly with others. For example, based on Board of Ethical Review cases, such as in BER case 75-7, the board consider whether an engineer who serves on local governmental boards or commissions that involve same aspects of engineering may provide engineering services to the board of commission to his firm. An engineer serving on a commission would provide services to private owners ethically because the engineer had abstained from the decision and voting on permit applications. However, we caution that care must be taken to ensure that the engineer in such a situation has not taken any action to influence a favorable permit decision. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fahmi bin Muhammad Isa. I will talk about solution and conclusion. Solution. The right solution to comply with Board of Engineering Malaysia (BEM), Registration of Engineer Act (REA) and Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology (ABET) is Engineer A must avoid receiving a contract from private healthcare provider to perform the electrical maintenance work at the hospital. Based on Board of Engineering Malaysia (BEM), a conflict is a real or potential disagreement between a member of the Board of Directors and a corporation. Next, based the registration of engineer at REA, an engineer can most often become involved in conflict of interest when they are confronted with the possibility of working for more than one client on the same project. Other than that, Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology (ABET), an engineer should build their personal reputation on the merit of their service and shall not compete unfairly with others. Conclusion. Based on the discussed reference from Board of Engineering Malaysia (BEM), a conflict is a real or potential disagreement between a member of the Board of Directors and a corporation. Salaries and bonus, misuse of company asset and self-dealing are examples of major conflict of interest. Next, from the discussed reference from Registration of Engineer Act (REA), an engineer who serves as a municipal engineer and a country engineer for a retainer fee may not deliver or render judgment on behalf of the city and county on project for which the engineer has provided service through a private client. Care must be taken to ensure the engineer in such a situation has not taken any action to influence a favorable permit decision. Finally, we as an engineer must follow the rule in making right decision. Any decision that we make will influence the structure of the building and safety of the building. Thank you.